Did you know that the same system designed to educate your student athlete could actually be holding them back? Not because the school is bad, but because the traditional classroom was built for a world that no longer exists. We're talking about the one-size-fits-all model, the system that asks every student to learn the same way, at the same pace, in the same environment, regardless of who they are or what they're training for. Today, in the Parent Playbook, we're showing you how TPH Academy has completely reimagined that model, building an academic experience that fits the individual, not the other way around. Last time, we talked about how TPH reverses the day to align training with the body's natural rhythm. But the daily schedule is only half the equation. The other half is how we learn. Because even if you optimize when your athlete trains, it won't matter if the classroom itself isn't designed for the way their brain works. See, the traditional model does a great job for the average student. But when you have an aspiring elite athlete, a young person managing training, recovery, and a demanding travel schedule, that same model often becomes a source of stress and frustration. It's not that these students don't want to learn. It's that they're being asked to fit into a framework that was never built for them. Parents tell us the same story all the time. My child is motivated, disciplined, driven, but the traditional school makes them feel like they're falling behind. And that feeling, it bleeds into everything. Confidence drops, focus slips, the joy of both sport and learning starts to fade. At TPH Academy, we believe that when a system penalizes passion and commitment, that means it's time to change the system. The shift we've made is simple, but it changes everything. At TPH Academy, we shape the academic experience to the individual. No one-size-fits-all approach. No forcing your athlete into someone else's structure. Instead, we design learning around 4 key factors: when, where, how, and pacing. Every student learns differently throughout the day. Some are sharpest in the morning. Others hit their stride later in the afternoon. Research on adolescent circadian rhythm shows that the teenage brain tends to reach its cognitive peak slightly later than adults, which means that learning, focus, and retention improve when schedules can adapt to each student's natural rhythm. Our heads of academics and success coaches take this into account when shaping each athlete's day. We align lessons, study sessions, and recovery time with when their mind and body perform best. This approach improves concentration, reduces burnout, and helps student athletes learn more efficiently because they're no longer fighting their own biology. So key. Next, we look at the learning environment. Neuroscience tells us that surroundings directly influence engagement and memory. That's why our academic spaces don't look like standard classrooms. Each campus features multiple zones under one roof, quiet study pods for deep work, open collaborative tables for group projects, elevated seating for discussions, and relaxed lounge setups for creative review. When students can choose the space that fits their focus style, Their brain naturally associates learning with comfort and autonomy, not confinement. Then we ask the question every parent has wondered: how does my child actually learn best? Is your athlete a visual learner who needs charts, images, and motion? An auditory learner who absorbs through discussion and explanation? Or a kinesthetic learner who thrives through doing by applying what they've learned hands-on? Our flexible, blended learning curriculum supports all three. Heads of academics and success coaches tailor lesson delivery to match the student's dominant learning style, combining digital courseware with mentorship and discussion, along with practical application. When the content matches the learner, information sticks, confidence rises, school starts to feel meaningful again. And perhaps the most overlooked element, pacing. In the traditional system, the calendar dictates the learning. So the bell rings, right? The unit ends, and the class moves on, whether or not every student is ready. At TPH, mastery dictates pacing. We work with each student to discover their ideal rhythm. Some learn best by front-loading the week, tackling challenging work early on. Others prefer a steady balance or a lighter start, leading into a stronger finish. Our on-site team then personalizes weekly milestones so learning moves at a sustainable pace, not a forced one. Finally, we embrace what most schools treat as a conflict: the connection between athletics and academics. For many student athletes, their sport is not a distraction, it's their drive. So we use it as motivation, not an obstacle. Some thrive on completing all major assignments before a weekend tournament, freeing their mind to focus on the competition. Others study best on the road, using travel time for review or for reflection. See, we intentionally align their academic rhythm with their athletic schedule, turning the very thing that causes stress in traditional school into the engine that fuels success. The payoff of rejecting the one-size-fits-all classroom model is very simple, but very powerful. When you stop forcing every student to learn the same way, learning becomes personal again. Stress drops, engagement rises, and your athlete starts to feel something every parent wants to see: momentum. See, at TPH Academy, we meet them where they are, and we build from there. Even if your athlete is still in a traditional school setting, there are proven, science-backed strategies you can use to help them thrive. 1. Protect sleep like it's part of training. Sleep is the most powerful recovery tool for both body and brain. Teens who get 8 to 10 hours a night, they retain up to 40% more new information. So on heavy training days, prioritize rest over late night studying. Their brain will keep learning while they sleep. 2. Anchor study time to energy peaks. Most teens experience peak alertness mid to late morning and then again in the early evening. Use those windows for the hardest academic work. Even short 30-minute sessions make a difference. 3. Work in focused sprints. Research shows attention and recall improve with short bursts, 25 to 40 minutes of focus, followed by brief active breaks. Encourage your athlete to study in sprints instead of marathons. 4. Build transition breaks. So after training, take 5 to 10 minutes before switching to homework. Stretching, breathing, or a quick walk helps the brain shift from physical exertion to mental focus. This reduces stress and improves concentration. 5, plan academics like a tournament. Before travel, help your athlete front-load schoolwork and communicate with teachers early on. During travel, small review sessions, 10 to 15 minutes a day, keep them in rhythm and prevent that post-trip crash. 6, fuel the brain the same way you fuel the body. Hydration and nutrition directly affect focus and memory. Even mild dehydration can reduce cognitive performance by 10%. Treat meals and water breaks as part of academic preparation. This is very important. Lastly, tie school goals to sport motivation. Athletes are goal-oriented. Link academics to performance goals. For example, finishing homework before a tournament to stay mentally clear. It builds discipline and a sense of ownership over both areas of their life. These small, science-backed changes can transform how your athlete feels day to day, bringing a bit of the TPH rhythm into your very own home. And if you're realizing that your athlete might be ready for an environment fully built around them, where academics, athletics, and personal growth all move in sync, that's what we've created at TPH Academy. Our model aligns school, sport, and life so that potential isn't forced, it's unlocked. If this resonates with you, we'd love to show you what it could look like for your family. You can find a link below to set up a Parent Playbook conversation with our team. No pressure, just a real look at what's possible for your athlete. Because the greatest way to unlock your child's potential is to meet them where they are, not where the system demands they should be. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Parent Playbook.